Hello and welcome to this player props edition of the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert, riding solo here again for these player props here. I'm going to primarily be looking at Saturday's slate. We got 4 games there to look at. Talked about Thursday slates and Friday slate on yesterday's episode, so go back and listen to that. We should be back to our normally scheduled programming with Joel joining me on Saturday afternoon at some point. So keep an eye out for that. Going to try to schedule that out on YouTube. So make sure you are subscribed on YouTube, Hockey on the Podcast there. Subscribe, like, comment, and ring that bell so you know when we are going live, that you can get the most up-to-date information. Sometimes we talk about games that are happening, that night in a few hours. So not necessarily good for the podcast listeners, but, make sure you listen live on YouTube and you get that information. But yeah, it still should be good for podcast listeners here. Make sure you subscribe then on Spotify and Apple. Leave us a 5-star rating and review there. Let us know what you think. And get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord, and follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. I'm going to show off here just looking at last night's games. We had the Panthers taking a 2-0 lead in the series with a 2-0 win over the Lightning. Just 19 shots on goal for Tampa Bay, not getting nearly enough done there. Sergei Bobrovsky with a shutout. Playoff Bob is coming back again for the Panthers there. And Battle of Ontario, Leafs up 3-0. What can go wrong there with Toronto going up 3-0 in that series? Ottawa had a 1-0 lead. Austin Matthews, great goal on a pass from Mitch Marner, give him a 2-1 lead. Brady Tkachuk, showed up there again to tie it up, but Simon Benoit, just a shot through traffic, deflected in. So Leafs now up 3-0. Sens have their backs against the wall. And then, the Western Conference games really kind of did not go our way. We had the Wild beating the Golden Knights 5-2. They're now up 2-1 in this series. Kirill Kaprizov, another great game. Marco Rossi, a great goal as well. Matt Boldy, Riley Smith made it close, but 5-2 win there for Minnesota. And then in St. Louis, it was really just all Blues. I was kind of didn't really like their depth there, but Pavel Buchnevich getting a hat trick. Connor Hellebuck getting pulled after allowing 6 goals. So the Jets are looking like the Jets that we saw in the first round last year. But maybe it's just that game 3, first game on the road. Blues had a lot going on in that building, so we'll see how they bounce back later this weekend. So yeah, we have a series in the East are seem to be kind of going shorter now, with Florida up 2-0, Toronto up 3-0. You got a few game 3s tonight, but in the West you got 2-1. Dallas, Colorado's 2-1. What's the other one? The other one is Kings Edmonton. That should be a big one. Game 3 tonight in Edmonton. But yeah, talked about those last night. If you want to, I'll take questions on those later. Maybe give out some plays, but it's primarily going to be for podcast listeners looking at Saturday's games, which will start off at 1 o'clock. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. Let me show that up on the screen here. Get the odds up. Share this tab instead. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning plus 114 at the Florida Panthers minus 135. Over under is at 5.5. Overpaying off minus 115. Under at minus 105. Big storyline here, of course, is Brandon Hagel's big hit on Alexander Barkov. Barkov is questionable for game 3. I saw Hagel is having a hearing today, which will likely mean a suspension. I don't think that's been announced quite yet. So, if Barkov is out for the Panthers, they are getting Ekblad back, but no Barkov's going to be a big deal for them. Hagel is also a big player for the Lightning. So if he's out, things are not looking good there in Tampa Bay. Maybe we'll get that Panther sweep that Joel has been hoping for and not having this series go too long there. But yeah, Panthers 27-12-2 at home, going back home with a 2-0 series lead. Seems like a great opportunity for them to just, step on the throats of the Lightning. We saw them take them down in 5 games last year. As I said, Barkov will be a big piece of that, but 27-12-2 at home. Tampa Bay 18-19-4 on the road. The 2 matchups in Florida this season, we had the Lightning win 4-0 on December 23rd, which was a back-to-back of a home-and-home. And then a more rested team took a 2-1 win over Tampa on March 3rd. A lot of low scoring games there, so maybe look to the under 5.5, minus 105. But in terms of the props, I'm going to be going back to my boy Matthew Tkachuk. He did not do too much there in game two. I believe he had an assist on one of the goals, I believe. No, he had no points, held off the score sheet in game two, but I do like him to get back on the score sheet in game three. Looking at his past 10 games, I mean, yeah, held off the score sheet last game, but 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, at least a point in what's that, 7 straight there, 8 of his past 10. And looking at his head-to-head matchups here against the Lightning, he loves playing the Lightning, especially last playoffs. 2 points, 1 point, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points in the 5 games. So him to get a point is where's that at? Around minus 180. I kind of like him to get 2 points at plus 285. I could see Tkachuk, coming back home, having the building rock in there. Do like Tkachuk quite a bit at over 1.5 points plus 285. I think that is going to be a good look. And also the power play points, of course, at plus 205 to get the power play point. He had 3 in game 1. Uncharacteristically, in game 2, Tampa Bay went 0 for 5. Florida went 0 for 3. I do expect to see more power play goals than 0 in game 3 here on Saturday. And game 3 is typically when there are the most penalties called. There was an Athletic article, I think 2 years ago now, looking into that. So look at power play points in these games 3s. We saw them last night with both the Western Conference games. I mean, Wild went off on the power play. Golden Knights cannot get anything done on the power play. That's been their downfall. And then, for the Blues, Buchnevich had a power play goal. Kyrou had a power play goal. Neil Pionk had a power play goal for the Jets. So, and then Parayko. So you had 4 power play goals in that game. I like power play points over 1.5 power play goals if that's available at your book there. I also do like Aaron Ekblad to get an assist in his return. He had a 6-game assist streak going into his suspension. He had an assist in 43% of games this season. Looking at the head-to-head matchups, he had an assist, 2 of the 3 meetings this season, 3 of the past 4, dating back to last year's playoffs. Looks like he should be back on the top power play unit for Florida. So like him to get an assist at plus 150. Power play point plus 330. Don't hate that at all. You got to look at these guys that are on that top unit to get a power play point that aren't the 2-to-1s that could chuck, or even less for some of these guys like Kucherov or McDavid or Draisaitl. So looking at the power play points in this game, I do like Kucherov, even though it's down at plus 110, plus 115. Maybe just take him to get 2 points or to get an assist or something like that. But Ekblad, plus 310. Reinhart plus 240, Hedman, Gensel, both plus 210 there. Would not mind taking those. Hagel, if he's not suspended, plus 320. Samoskevich, I mentioned last show, he's plus 375. I believe he's still on that top power play unit. But I also do like to look at what has gone on in this series so far. So looking at natural stat trick, here is the Lightning's players. It's just not getting a lot of shots on goal. I mean, Jake Gensel and Eric Chernak lead it with 6 each. Point, McDonough have 5, Paul has 4, but Nikita Kucherov, 3 shots on goal in 44 minutes. He does have 13 shot attempts. He's trying to fire pucks on net, but he's not finding the net there. So Lightning have to get more going offensively. And then on the Panthers side, you can see here, at 5-on-5, you got Verhaeghe and Reinhart each have 4 shots on goal. Overall, Verhaeghe, Bennett each have 5. Looking at the individual expected goals, Bennett and Tkachuk are right up there. 4 high danger scoring chances for Tkachuk, 5 scoring chances overall. So Panthers are, we talked about the Oilers not being able to be a team that just went into the playoffs and flip a switch, but the Panthers look like a team that were. They won 3 of their past 4, or 3 of 4 going into the playoffs. They've now won 2 straight. They know what it takes to win in the playoffs. We saw that last year. I am wary about their long-term potential with 3 straight runs to the Stanley Cup final. Not sure if that's sustainable there, but they're healthy right now besides Barkov. So you got to see what happens with Barkov there. I believe that's all I have in this game. Yeah, I mentioned it. Kucherov, power play point, plus 120. Looking at him here, didn't get one last game, but head-to-head against Florida, he's been 50% in his past 14 games, 7 of his past 13, 2 of his past 3. So you hope he gets back on the scoreboard there, but I could see another low scoring game. So I'm not going to go too heavy on any of these props, but for this game, I mean, Panthers minus 135. They've looked like the better team. I would go that way. Let me see what's the series price at now for this Alligator Alley battle. We have the Panthers minus 600, Lightning at plus 425, Lightning plus 2.5 at even money. I kind of like that. I feel like they're going to steal at least one of these, not steal, but get one of these wins at home, if not both. And then they just need 2 wins. You need them to win 2 out of the next 4 games for you to win this bet. And I feel like they can do that. I feel like they can turn it on. John Cooper's a great coach. Don't think they're going to be too fussed going on the road. We're not great on the road in the regular season, but I think they can flip the switch in the playoffs. Hopefully there. So yeah, that's the early game on Saturday. Let's move down now to the next game, which is the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. We do have the Wild as a home, or Golden Wild home dogs again at a plus 124. Golden Knights minus 148. This game is at 4:00, I believe, on Saturday. Over 5.5 minus 125. Under 5.5 is plus 105 there. Wild are giving us a scare here, but I mean, Vegas, if there's any team that can, kind of shake this off, I think it is the Golden Knights. Back-to-back 5-2 losses. Aiden Hill has not looked good. You got Schmid in the game a bit last night, but I think they go back to Hill. It's just finding that combination on the top line, seeing if you can get something done with Eichel there, see if you can get some assists, get some points. But looking at this, the main guy I'm targeting in this game, and he hit for me last night, is Pavel Dorofeyev to keep firing pucks on that. Let me switch over to that game on my prop screen here. Yeah, he's been pretty good. He's been unsung hero, I think, for the Golden Knights. He's kind of flying under the radar. Over 2.5 shots on goal. You see, minus 215 FanDuel, minus 165 DraftKings. That's a steal right there. He had 4 shots on goal last game, 5 in game 2, 3 in game 1, 10 straight games with at least 3 shots on goal. Looking at his past 20, he's hit it in 15 of his past 18 there. So he's been great. Looking at the head-to-head against the Wild, 6 straight meetings against the Wild with starting back on December 15th, 3, 5, 6, 3, 5, and 4. So I do like the ladder again here as well. Over 3.5 at plus 145, over 4.5 at plus 330. I think that's where I'd probably stop the ladder. But if you want to sprinkle a little bit higher than that, I cannot fault you at all. I could see him shooting even more now with the Golden Knights down 2-1 in the series. The Wild look like, they got Kaprizov back. They got Joel Eriksson back. When they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in the league, and they are showing that. Philip Gustafsson has been great in net, making 32 saves in each of the past 2 games. And even in game 1, he wasn't bad. It was just Minnesota not getting it done offensively. So the Wild might be a sneaky dog here, but I'm still backing my Golden Knights here. Let me see what they are in the series for this one. We have playoff series props. We have Golden Knights plus 105, Wild or minus 125. It's kind of crazy that the team up 2-1 is only minus 125, but that shows the respect that the Golden Knights do have in the market. Golden Knights plus 1.5 gains is minus 165. If you think this could go 7, but look at some other player props here. That's it really for the Golden Knights side is Dorofeyev. I am going to go back to the Jack Eichel for power play points at plus 220. They're not getting much done on the power play. Minnesota has been good, but I think they have to break through at some point, and plus 220 I think is a good price for Eichel. But as far as the Wild side is concerned, I'm going with some Kirill Kaprizov props. He's been a madman on the ice for the Wild. So over 2.5 shots on goal here could be a good look. He had 6 in game 3 there at home, 4 in game 2. Scroll down here, 11 shot attempts last game. So over 3.5, over 2.5 is minus 205. kind of more of a parlay piece. Over 3.5 plus 145. Over 4.5 even is plus 285. He's been shooting a bunch for the Wild, as he should. He's clearly their best player. And looking at these head-to-head matchups against the Golden Knights, he's had 4 or more in what's that? 6 of his past 7 meetings, 5 or more in 4 of 7, and you're getting plus 285 for that. I mean, even if you want to go over 5.5, you get 6-1 for, he had 6 shots on goal last game, 6 shots on goal at home against Vegas in the other meeting this season. So at a nice 6-1 price there for him to get 6 shots on goal, I do not mind that whatsoever. And then going to be looking at Matt Boldy. He's also on that top line with Kaprizov. Good recipient of a lot of Kaprizov's passes. Where is Boldy at? Matt Boldy. To get a point is minus 200, an assist plus 210, but I might just be looking at him to score a goal, plus 190, plus 195. He has goals in 4 straight games now, 2 in game 1, 1 in game 2, and 1 in game 3. Now head to head, that's what he's done there against Vegas. He's, taking shots on goal there as well. Let me look at his shots on goal prop. He had 5 last game, over 2.5 minus 130, over 3.5 plus 195, over 4.5 plus 425. Like I said, 5 shots on goal on 10 attempts in game 3. And he had 7 attempts and 9 attempts in the first 2 games, despite only having 2 shots on goal. So he's shooting the puck. It's just a matter of him getting those pucks on net and, at home, getting those passes from Kaprizov. Could see him doing that a bit more. Looking at the series so far here between Vegas and Minnesota, looking at the standard here for Vegas, Dorofeyev, 8 shots on goal. Hurdle has 7. And you have Saad, Howden, and Hannafin all at 6. That's at 5-on-5, including the power play. You got Dorofeyev up to 12, Hurdle at 9. Weird seeing Eichel just at 5 shots on goal through 3 games. They're definitely keying in on him, especially on the power play. But 16 shot attempts, only 5 on goal for Eichel. He definitely has to get it going. He's looking frustrated out there for the Golden Knights. And then looking over at the Wild here at 5-on-5, Joel Eriksson has been an absolute beast. 12 shots on goal for him at 5-on-5 in 48 minutes. Boldy, 7 shots on goal, 4 goals in 51 minutes. Looking at all situations, Eriksson 13, Kaprizov 11, and Boldy 9 shots there. So individual expected goals. You got Kaprizov. You got Marcus Foligno up there. He's had a few great opportunities that he cashed in on. Boldy. And then Ryan Hartman as well. Hartman has not yet to score, but 3 assists for that. Let me see what Joel Eriksson's shots on goal prop is. Did not realize he's been shooting the puck that much. Okay, over 2.5. Yeah, minus 165 or minus 198. So make sure you do shop around for that. He's had 3 or more shots in 8 of his past 10, including 4 straight. Had 6 in game 3 at home on 6 attempts, 7 shot attempts in games 1 and 2 with 4 and 3 respectively. So, maybe look up at the over 3.5 plus 145. He does seem to like this playoff hockey 4, 3, and 6 in games 1, 2, and 3. So he's healthy. He's happy to be back in the lineup, and he is firing pucks on net there. I believe that's all I have for that. Yeah, just going with the top guys. Going with Eichel, Dorofeyev, Eriksson, Kaprizov, and Boldy. Going to be the guys I'm looking at in the afternoon game there. But of course, we are brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. You can earn cashback rewards, and there's a 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. You can deposit $25, and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the playoffs and props for every game as well. For the true DGens, the MyBookie Money Bag. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right, Saturday night, 7 o'clock. We got the Toronto Maple Leafs looking to close out and sweep the Senators. Leafs are minus 105. Senators are minus 115. Senators have been, kind of the better team overall at 5-on-5 in this series. Expected goals, they do have the edge. Shot attempts, they have the edge. Really, all the underlying metrics at 5-on-5, they have the edge. But the Leafs have Anthony Stolarz. The Leafs have Mitch Marner. The Leafs have Austin Matthews. The Leafs have John Tavares, William Nylander, Max Domi scoring overtime winners. And the Sens just really aren't quite there yet. They look like a team that has been, itching to make the playoffs, just climbing into the playoffs, but they're not quite having it there yet. I don't know if the Leafs can get a sweep in the first round. We know they've been horrible in the first round in recent years. That's been the whole thing with them. And the Sens have been a much better team against them head to head. But this series so far, just looking at the numbers here for the Leafs, Austin Matthews 7 shots on goal, Riley and Nylander both have 5, and then a bunch of guys with 4: McMahon, Tavares, Domi, OEL, and Holmberg there. That's at 5-on-5, and then looking at all situations, Matthews with 11, John Tavares with 10. They're really the guys leading the way for shots on goal. Same thing with shot attempts. Matthews has 23, Tavares has 17. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. Go with the big guns there for the Leafs. As far as the Senators are concerned, Brady Tkachuk, 11 shots on goal in 3 games at 5-on-5. Overall, he has 14 in 3 games on 28 shot attempts. I mean, he's gonna pucks on that. He's firing pucks on that, but only 2 goals so far for him. Dylan Cousins, 23 shot attempts, 10 shots on goal. No goals yet for him. He's had some great opportunities, but has not yet been able to find the back of the net. So let me look at some props here for this game as well. Pull that up on this tab here. So the players. Mitch Marner is going to be one of the guys I'm looking at first. It's going to be over 1.5 points. You got minus 260 here for him to get a point. Not quite good enough for me, but over 1.5 to get 2 points, plus 182, 2 points last game, 3 points in game 1. He's in a contract year. He's going to be a free agent this summer. Might be his last year with the Leafs, and he's trying to make sure it's a good one. So he's been definitely great there on that top line. Assist wise, that might be the way to look. Over to get an assist is minus 160. Where's he at to get a goal? He has 1 goal. He had a goal in game 1 on that breakaway, plus 240. I just go with the assist at minus 160, which, when you consider that he's minus 260 to get a point, and he did that in 75% of games this season. And assists, he got in 63% of games, and it's down to minus 160. I feel like if you just want to play a safer bet, I would do a Marner assist, but Marner 2 points plus 182. I think that would be the way I would attack that if you're looking for a good plus odds there. And looking at plus minus, it's not available at many books, but he's been a plus in 8 straight games. He's at plus 145. Looking at the head-to-head, zeros here during the regular season, but 1-1 and 2. In the playoffs here, I personally don't think I've ever bet a plus minus, but that did catch my eye when I was looking at the props here before the show. Austin Matthews, same thing, plus minus, plus 135. I mean, if you do a plus minus parlay or something, I'm not even sure if that's allowed. What else here for the Leafs? Mitch Marner power play point. Mitch Marner power play point. Leafs power play has been good. He has 4 power play points through 3 games in this series. They've been showing up. Leafs power play has definitely been showing up a bit. So, going to be looking at Mitch Marner props for this one for the Leafs side, and then looking over at the Senators. Drake Batherson has been a guy I've been looking at for shots on goal. He's been shooting quite a bit. He's up to over 2.5 is his line, but if you get over, minus 260 isn't quite good enough for over 1.5. Maybe a parlay piece because he's done that. 8 of his past 10 games against the Leafs, he's had multiple shots on goal. But if you're trying to go for over 3.5, that's a bit of a stretch. Even though what's his shot attempts been 7 shot attempts last game at home. Maybe he's able to find a few more to hit the back of the net. Speaking of someone that needs to shoot more, hit the back of the net, it's going to be Tim Stützle of the Ottawa Senators as well. Looking at his shots on goal, he's had multiple shots on goal now in 7 straight games, 3 in Toronto in games 1 and game 2, 2 at home in game 3, and he's minus 174. He's done this in 58% of his games this season. Head to head, 8 of his past 10 games against the Leafs, he has had at least 2 shots on goal and maybe a little mini ladder here at over 2.5 plus 172. Like I mentioned, he had 3 shots on goal in games 1 and game 2. He had 5 shot attempts in game 3, only 2 hit the net, but at a plus 172 in a winner go home situation, you have to imagine Travis Green will have his team shooting the puck when they can rather than, possibly overpassing it. Also looking at some Drake Batherson points. He's had a point in 9 of his past 10 games, 60% of his games this season, 7 of his past 10 games against the Leafs, 7 of his past 9 even, if you want to cherry pick some stats there. And, he's been good. He's been good. He's on the top power play unit. Wouldn't mind taking him to get a power play point. Had one there in game 3 to end the season. He was pretty hot here as well on the power play. So you're getting plus 220 for that. And then also, I got to shout out my boy Claude Giroux. He's on that second power play unit, but he got a goal last night. I think he also had an assist at 5-on-5. He does play on the top line with Brady Tkachuk. Power play points in back-to-back games, and he's at 5-1, 5 plus 525 even at Bet365. So if you look for Flyers fan, if you want to have a 5-1 ticket in your pocket, you can take a Claude Giroux power play point there at 5-1. Okay, let's look at the series prices here. I have not been looking at the series prices for this Leafs series. I have to imagine they're quite big favorites. Scrolling down here, yeah, minus 3,500. Sens are plus 1,600. Sens plus 2.5 games. So Sens to win the next 2 games is plus 370. I don't hate that. You have them at minus, kind of at a pick 'em in game 4, and then they'll probably be, let me do a parlay calculator real quick of like what would it take to get to 370 from a minus 110, and what if they're even plus 175 maybe in game 5. Yeah, that's that'll be plus 325 parlay. If they're plus 200 in back in Toronto, that's closer to the plus 370. So if you like the Sens, if you want to fade the Leafs, if you think the Leafs are going to choke again, plus 370 could be a good look there for the plus 2.5 games. Series total games to go 5 plus 220, to go 6 plus 800, to go 7 9-1 now. But yeah, 4 games. I mean, the Leafs are minus 115, so that makes sense there. Yeah, should be an interesting Saturday night battle of Ontario on Hockey Night in Canada, and then should be a great game to close it out as well on Saturday night with the Dallas Stars in Colorado for their series against the Avalanche. Great series here so far. You got the Dallas Stars up 2-1. Avalanche didn't lose that game where Gabe Landeskog came back, but puck drop 930. You got the Stars plus 145, Avalanche minus 175. Over 6.5 is plus 110. Under 6.5 is minus 130. I might be looking to that under. We had a 2-1 game last time. 2 high scoring games to start it. 5-1 Avalanche win, which should have been a closer game. 4-3 Stars overtime win in game 2. But yeah, it's just the Avalanche here. Got to get it going. Whoever wins this series, I do think has probably the best chance to take the West here, and you see that in the Western Conference odds. I'll look at them after the next break. But I mean, the story here, Avalanche at home, clearly has to be Nathan McKinnon props. Like Nathan McKinnon has been firing the puck whenever he gets a chance. Looking at the Avalanche standard stats so far, at 5-on-5, 10 shots on goal on 14 attempts. And then you have Lehkonen, Nelson, and Nichushkin with 6, Makar and Manson with 5. But all situations, 19 shots on goal for Nathan McKinnon through 3 games on 27 attempts. Makar, 10 shots on 30 attempts. So maybe look at some Makar shots on goal props as well. But I will primarily be looking at the Nathan McKinnon, potentially a Nathan McKinnon shots on goal ladder. Over 3.5 is minus 165. Over 4.5 plus 138, over 5.5 plus 250, over 6.5 plus 490, and then over 7.5 is 9-1. And it sounds crazy, but he had 9 shots on goal last game. He had 9 shots on goal on 12 shot attempts. Game 2 in Dallas, 4 shots on 7 attempts. In Game 1, he had 7 shots on 8 attempts. And he's the guy. He's the guy that gets it all going for the Avalanche. So he is going to be definitely aggressive out there for them. You can get him to score a goal at plus 140. He's definitely shooting a lot. You look at him, he leads the team with 1.62 expected goals, 27 shot attempts, 11 scoring chances for him so far through 3 games. And he's been great at home this season. Let me show home games here. Looking at shots on goal, it's gone over 4.5 in 37% of home games. Looking at home games to end the season, 7-6-7. That's how we ended the season overall. Not sure why this filter didn't work, but yeah, Nathan McKinnon, shots on goal prop, ladder, going to ladder that up quite high because you got 3.5 minus 165 should be safe. 4.5 plus 138. That's fairly safe as well, I think. And then, it gets to plus 250 for 6, plus 490 for 7, and plus 900 for 8 or more, like I said. But he's going to be firing. Potentially look at some points for him as well. Did not have a point in Game 3, but 3 points in Game 1, 1 point in Game 2. Forgot to shout out a head-to-head shots on goal against the Stars as well. He's been firing pretty much at will. So like him, power play point, of course, plus 130 is a bit lower than you would like, but we can look at some more power play points after we check out Nathan on the other side. Mikko Rantanen has been shooting the puck quite a bit against his former team. In Game 3, he had 5 shots on goal on 6 attempts. Game 2, he had 3 shots on goal on 7 attempts. In Game 1, 3 shots on goal on 4 attempts. So he's gone over 1.5 minus 120 in 5 straight. Over 2.5 plus 154 is probably where I'd be looking if you can get that price. That is a plus EV bet here. So like McKinnon, like Rantanen, they were great teammates, great line mates even. But now hopefully can be 2 good bets for this game against the Avalanche. He had 2 shots on goal in his first meeting on 3 attempts, and then here in the playoffs, 3, 3, and 5 through 3 games. Looking at the Stars so far this series, Mikko Rantanen leads the team with 8 shots on goal at 5-on-5. In all situations, Hintz has 12, Rantanen has 11. Both of those guys have 12 scoring chances, along with Jamie Benn. Tyler Seguin also has 11 scoring chances. So the Stars' depth is really showing up against the Avalanche. Maybe look down the roster to get some juicier numbers, better numbers to look at. Let me see what we got for points for some of these guys, because it should be looking pretty good. Tyler Seguin, even money. Don't hate that. Jonathan Drouin is a guy I'm going to be looking at power play points. Wyatt Johnston minus 113. Jamie Benn plus 145. He's been great for them in this series, especially there in Game 3 with the game tying goal. Brock Nelson for the Avalanche been a good depth pickup for their second line center role. So, hopefully we get a high scoring game. I'm not really expecting it, so I'm not going to be taking too many point or power play point props, but looking at shots on goal for McKinnon, looking at Rantanen, and then let me look at power play points real quick for you guys. Sort it by last 5 games. You got McKinnon plus 135, Jamie Benn plus 650. He's on that second unit, but he's been great. Power play point is 2 of his last 5, 3 of his past 10. Jonathan Drouin is the guy I would be looking at, though, for the Avalanche top unit. You see plus 240 at some books, plus 360, plus 375, though. Huge range there of prices. And he had a power play point in games 1 and 2. No power play point in Game 3, but looking at him head-to-head against Dallas, power play points in 7 of his past 11 games, 5 of his past 7 as well. So getting a plus 375 on something like that would be pretty good there for Jonathan Drouin. Yeah, here's it is on the YouTube. You got McKinnon, you got Ben, Drouin, Harley. Harley's been low-key a great piece for the Stars. Plus 340 for a point, McCarr plus 150. Let me sort this by year long. Yeah, McKinnon, McCarr, Natchis's price is definitely coming down a lot. It was 3-1 in game one, down at now at plus 210 for a power play point, but still some value there. When you compare it to McKinnon plus 135 and McCarr plus 150. On the star side, you got Rantanen plus 220, Wyatt Johnston 3-1. Looking at the Cowboy there, could be looking at some good chances there. Matt Duchene plus 330. I do see some power plays in this game. Should be a physical game. Last game, Avalanche power play 0 for 6, and the Stars 1 for 3. Avalanche going 0 for 6 is not going to happen very often. So if they get multiple chances on Saturday night, I feel like they're going to bury at least one. All right, we are brought to you by Underdog. Underdog Pick'em. You can play any sport and win up to 100 times your entry. So sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code HGP. And we're brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good, it feels like cheating. Building your own model is simple and easy. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 or 50% off annual prescription with promo code SGPN50. That is RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. All right, got the some Stanley Cup outrights here on the screen. We're taking a look at those in a quick second here. Yeah, you got the Canes as the favorite, 6-1. Not sure if they have it this year, but they're always in it. They're always a team that's going to be going kind of far there in the playoffs. And you got the Cats at 650. You got the Leafs at 850. Jets 9-1. Stars 950. Kings 10-1, Caps 10-1, Avalanche 11-1, Golden Knights 16-1. If you think they might win this series, this is this is definitely the best price you're going to get for them, unless they go down 3-0 next series or something. I think that's a good price, 16-1. Oilers, if Pickard can do something at 35-1, might not be a horrible look. Lightning 55-1. If you think they can come back in that series, that's probably worth a sprinkle. That's a bit higher than I would expect. But then Blues 100-1, Canadians plus 210-1, Devils 250-1, and the Senators 500-1. God bless you if you want to sprinkle any of those and be like, oh, I took the Sens 500-1 when they were down 3-0 and they took the Cinderella run. But I don't see anything that happen. I'm going to be looking at some. I guess if I was trying to place some Stanley Cup bets, Lightning 55-1 would definitely be decently worth a sprinkle there. Knights 16-1. Leafs 8 plus 850. It just feels like this might be their year with Berube, with Stolarz being such a big goalie, such a good goalie in net. I think those would be the three kind of darts I would take right now is Leafs, Knights, and Lightning. And then wait to see what happens between the Stars and Avalanche and take them, because I feel like whoever wins that series is going to go to the Stanley Cup final there out of the West. Panthers plus 650 if you think they're going to get it done at home in Game 3. Take that now, because if they go up 3-0, they will be the easy favorite, 5-1, maybe even 4-1 for the Cup, given they're getting Ekblad back, especially if Barkov is able to play. That's kind of their key piece. So yeah, that's the Stanley Cup odds there. I'm going to also look at some Conn Smythe odds. You got to shop around for these. I'm going to look at just the DraftKings prices. That's what I have here. You got Hellebuck 15-1, Bob 16-1, Aho 20, but McKinnon 22-1. That's the way I would attack the Avalanche. That's double their 11-1 Stanley Cup price. I can't imagine anyone winning it besides McKinnon if the Avs do win the Stanley Cup. Same thing for Hellebuck, pretty much 9-1 for the Cup, 15-1 for the Conn Smythe. I think that has to be the winner. Of course, you do have some Kyle Connor talks in there. He's at 28-1, but I feel like Hellebuck, if the Jets win it all, it's going to be on his back there. The thing is with the Leafs, you got Matthews 20-1, Marner 25-1, you got Stolarz 30-1, you got Tavares and Nylander there somewhere as well. Nylander 50-1, Tavares 50-1. Like, it's so spread out between the offensive guys that I do think Stolarz has a decent chance. I got him at a much better price before this series. He's 31-1 at FanDuel. If you want that extra dollar, every dollar counts, every cent counts. So make sure you shop around. The Canes are the Stanley Cup favorites at 6-1, and for them, you got Aho 20-1, Anderson 30-1, Jarvis 30-1. I think Jarvis might be the guy I would look for. He seems like he could be turn into a big game player. Who else? Where's Svechnikov at? Svechnikov scrolling down. Stankoven is 60-1. He's had a few big goals, but I don't know if I like that. Svechnikov at 100-1. He's the type of guy that could go on a Jonathan Marchessault like run in the conference final and Stanley Cup final, and 100-1 for that I feel like would be a decent price at this point. Panthers are the next Stanley Cup favorite at plus 650. Bob 16-1, Kachuk 20-1, Barkov 25-1, Reinhart 40-1. I think it would probably just be Bob again. Bob 16-1. He was he should have won it. I mean, he would have won it if Connor McDavid didn't go completely off and the Oilers forced a game 7. I mean, Bob was a huge favorite early in the Stanley Cup final last year. Let me just shop around here real quick, see what he's at on other books. 18-1 on FanDuel. If you're if you have FanDuel there, you can look there. I'm checking BetMGM as well. They usually have the markets up at least before the games. Not seeing the market. Let me go to futures. Conn Smythe winner. Yeah, they have Bob at 18-1. So that seems to be a common price there for Bob. I think that is how I would attack the Panthers if you want a Conn Smythe bet. But let's look at some more long shots, because Svechnikov at 100-1 kind of got me me going there. My boy Kuzmenko 100-1. Not necessarily liking that, but Dorofeyev 150-1. He could be a Marchessault type guy to steal it from Eichel if the Golden Knights come back. What's Eichel at now? Eichel is at 30-1. He's going to be the guy, the top guy for the Golden Knights. He'll be the favorite if they win the Western Conference. But could see Dorofeyev at that good price. Also see Eichel 36-1 at other books. Dorofeyev 120-1. Jarvis is 25-1 in other books too. So maybe shop around, see if you get any of these off-market prices. If like one book has them a lot higher than the other ones, just throw a few bucks on that. See if you can take advantage of those opportunities there. Conn Smythe, that's really all I'd be looking at there. Leafs, I mentioned. Jets is going to be Hellebuck. Stars would be interesting. Not sure who would win it right now for the Stars. Their favorite, unless I'm missing someone here, is Ottinger at 35-1, and they're 950 to win it all. I feel like that's a bit high. I thought they would have a clearer favorite, but like I said, their depth could show up. You got Rantanen 50-1, Wyatt Johnston 75-1, Rupe Hintz 75-1, Harley 75-1. Those are some guys I would maybe take a look to sprinkle a little bit at 75-1, because looking at other shops, Hintz and Johnston are 60-1. Where is Ottinger over here? Ottinger 25-1. Yeah, the Stars I feel like have Stars Avs. I mean, Avs is going to be McKinnon. He's 22-1. But if you think the Stars are taking this series, taking the West, I would invest in a few of pick one or two of those guys, and you have them at 75-1. That's a good ticket to have in your pocket. Kings, they're the next biggest favorite. I don't know if they actually have what it takes to win it all, but Kempe would be the guy. He's been absolutely insane. Look at Kempe props tonight. I have a Kempe, Kopitar, Kuzmenko point stack for both 1 and 2 points. Like, they've been crazy. Love the over in that game with the Oilers coming back home, and should be a high scoring game there. And I guess if you want to get in on the Oilers right now, McDavid 45-1 to win the Conn Smythe is kind of crazy, knowing how quickly he can turn it on and carry that team. He is 35-1 and 36-1 elsewhere. So 45-1 is $10, $9 better than elsewhere. Where's Draisaitl? Draisaitl 60-1. No, it'll be McDavid, I think, if they somehow pull it off this year. But yeah, I think that's going to be doing it here for the player props. Looking at some futures, Conspite stuff. Let me know if you guys like these. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing them, but definitely through the first round, I'm going to try to be doing more episodes. You can follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. YouTube is probably the best way to watch these. You get some good visuals on the screen. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment there. Comment what's your favorite bet? What's your favorite Conn Smythe bet? What's your favorite futures bet? What are you taking a look at there? Get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. And yeah, we should be back on Saturday afternoon with a full show. But until then, I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop. See ya.